What up, though? People, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward.
I didn't say queefy clean.
Mike G, did Broder say queefy clean?
Do you guys realize I black out when I talk? Like, I don't know what comes out of my mouth. What?
Chat is asking if you had a stroke.
It was a long weekend, guys. I love the chat, by the way. I love you guys.
Chat is the best.
Yeah.
Chat is amazing.
If we're not making fun of each other, we don't love each other.
Oh,
Big facts.
queefy clean. No, never mind. I'll save that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk out.
Ooh, the
goodness.
Pistons! Yay!
Hey, you guys already see, man. Shades off for this segment. Not as hot. But the Pistons, man.
Why? First off, before the PBO conversation.
Yes.
I know drafting Bronny 5th, he's not worth a draft pick. Not even in the second round in this draft. It's not a pick for Bronny. It's a pick for LeBron James for 1, maybe 2 years.
For what?
For putting seats in the stands, for maybe helping Cade run the team, become a leader, become more of a court general out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think having LeBron, I mean, there's a lot that comes with it, but I don't think on the court, basketball-wise, there would be any downside. If you don't expect to win the NBA championship, there'd be no downside to having him on a young roster with Cade Cunningham as your star player. Like, I do think Bron could help Cade a lot, and that would be the only reason why you would consider Bronny James at 5, just to F with the NBA and to call LeBron out on, you're going to go wherever Bronny gets drafted? Will you go to Detroit?
Right, and watch you be stuck with Bronny after that.
Yeah.
And watch LeBron never show up after that. If there's one place he ain't coming, it is LCA. It is the Detroit Pistons, man.
No, it's close to Cleveland. He already beat Detroit. There's been some bad memories, LeBron at the Palace.
Yeah.
You know, Xavier D said one thing LeBron is like one team Aaron Rodgers, and for me personally, that's exactly how it feels. What Mitten made as well. Mitten said earlier in the chat, it would be just the Pistons' luck. Effectively, they go and they draft Bronny. They say, you know what? LeBron is on his way, and then LeBron all of a sudden retires. You said it would be like Gronk all over again, right?
I mean, pretty much. Why would he want to come here? I mean, he couldn't. He struggled to get in the play-in this year. He has Anthony Davis on his team. There's no Anthony Davis nowhere near this franchise. So I'm just saying.
He wants to play with his son.
Okay, play with him in the backyard. Play with him in the driveway.
Agreed.
Jared Tobias said, shout out to Jared. He said LeBron doesn't love Bronny enough to move to Detroit.
And this is coming from a LeBron fan, but if you were to do that, especially with the 5th pick, that's unforgivable. And it would just reek of publicity, like it's a media stunt.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's not how need to hide that.
How is this improve the team though? I'm trying to actually improve this franchise. Like 1 to 2 years of LeBron, and although he is playing still at a really high level, he's 42 years old.
Well, right. It's again, you don't have the expectations of winning a championship. Like you might not.
So what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
Why waste money? Why waste the money
to help Cade grow, to get an adult in the building?
From your standpoint, I do understand this aspect of thinking of LeBron James like a car starter or like a battery charger or something to just kind of get that thing going. Yeah. And then after that 1 or 2 years, try and build on that type of foundation. Where I just kind of pause on the idea is just you at this point in this rebuild, in this restore, at this point with these young players that you will move forward with, you have to have something, in my opinion, a little bit more foundationally structured. I believe that there are some vets out there right now that can play similar roles to LeBron James. Maybe get you a little bit more consistency as it relates to playing the games rather than kind of the load management that comes with having LeBron James on your squad. Yeah. And could cost you a lot less than what he would command for those 2 years, because that's another thing. LeBron is not coming to Detroit for peanuts. Mm-hmm. He's not.
He would come here. I don't think he cares about the money. He just wants to play with Bronny.
His agency cares about it, though. The agents and the agency, they care about it. And the Basketball Players Association cares about it, too. If LeBron starts to take less, they lose leverage as it relates to their ability to go in and when it's time to negotiate with the league, they lose their
this is an outlier,
lose their ability.
This situation is unlike. We're never going to see it again. We're talking about one of the best players of all time who's playing into his 40s, who happens to have a son that might match. We're never going to see this again. But you're right. This is pipe dream.
That is true, though. It's not even really a pipe dream. It's a realistic possibility. Like Bronny is literally in the NBA draft. He wowed some people at the combine, and now all of a sudden there is this real possibility that LeBron James and Bronny James could be on the same team by next year. I don't think that it's a bad thing to talk about.
Screw a trade in that. Like pick him and then trade him wherever LeBron wants to go. We're just kind of messing around here. But to make that decision, who is going to? Like, whether it's coming down from the new PBO, is Troy Weaver still going to be the GM? Kool-Aid, talk to me about this top four, or there's a front runner. Is there a front runner?
Yeah.
Who are they leaning towards? I don't know what this team's doing. We got a draft in a month.
Yeah, shout out to Jake L. Fisher and Vincent Goodwill of Yahoo Sports. Vincent put out an article over the weekend that got Pistons, kind of the whole Pistons world, up in arms. People on all sides of this kind of president of basketball operations thing. The 4 finalists that were announced via Vincent Goodwill and Yahoo Sports were John Hammond, Dennis Lindsey, Scott Perry. That's a familiar name. Two familiar names on there, Scott Perry and John Hammond, as well as Trajan Langdon. Dwayne Casey is still, like I said, a viable candidate for this Detroit Pistons front office player of basketball operations role. But there's just one note here that I wanted to be able to kind of shout out from this Yahoo Sports article. The front runner right now is considered to be Trajan Langdon, who just in a vacuum, if you would have asked me a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing him here if you're not getting like a Tim Connolly, who obviously the reports came out already that then that's the Minnesota and Denver Nuggets architect. He said he's not, it's highly likely he's not coming to Detroit.
Got you.
So they moved on. Now you're looking at a guy like Trajan Langdon, who's supposed to be kind of this younger guy, has this this focus on player development, this focus on identifying talent and being able to work well within a front office. He's kind of been the one that's taken his lead. But Vincent Goodwill and Jake Fisher, they felt the need, the necessity, and I've been saying this for a long time, read between the lines, and it seems like the more and more we go, each and every single month now over the last few months, a lot of the things we've been talking about since the show started and on Woodward Pistons over the last year is starting to show light. They put Langdon has climbed the ranks, starting with San Antonio and Brooklyn before going to New Orleans in his current role. During Langdon's playing days, who do you guys think was his agent?
Tell him.
Arn Tellem.
Yep.
Tellem is now the Pistons vice chairman, and the Pistons have picked up players represented by Tellem's sons through the years.
I don't want
That's amazing that now all of a sudden the articles are starting to write that. Now people are starting to kind of catch wind to the fact that things going on in this front office, they're not necessarily attributed to some of the people that are underneath this brain trust of Arn Tellem. And like I said, if Trajan Langdon is the right pick for president of basketball operations, well, then that's why you would want a guy like Arn Tellem there. But when it's proven that whatever his connections are might not be fruitful for the Detroit Pistons, that's where you have to start to really question what you do moving forward.
Why do we want another connection in there that's connected to Tellem? Like, isn't that what we're trying to get away from here with this PBO search, trying to clean house from all that BS?
That's what's so weird is that the Pistons had a clear GM and president of basketball operations title job open when they hired Weaver. Dude, you know what's interesting here? What was Weaver's actual title when he was OKC right before he got hired by the Pistons? A lot of people remember him as assistant GM, but that's not what he was doing at the time. He was vice president of basketball operations already with a franchise and organization that was doing things the right way.
Yeah.
Learning underneath some pretty good people, working with some pretty good people. And that's what I'm saying. I guess a lot of people think like, oh, so do you support everything that's going on? I don't. But I don't know how much has been or has not been stifled. And to your point, it does make you say, you know what? Even though I might have liked what Trajan Langdon appeared to be beforehand, it does make you just go, is he going to be the best candidate for the job? Even though he might be good, how do we know that it's a fair shake going into this search?
That's the key.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I mean, you're much closer to it than I am, but I don't know if I trust that. Like,
I wouldn't.
Just from the optics and put my voice as a voice of the fans. Like, why are we getting into bed again with something, whether he's talented or not? If he's just going to be listening to what Arn Tellem and his family tells him to do, is this team ever going to get better? Or do we need someone who has no connection to it all? Or connection to Detroit, to this Detroit Pistons? Like, honestly, the more you talk about these guys that they're considering and Trajan Langdon, I'm like, man, I want Dwayne Casey back. Like, I want someone who actually cares about this organization.
Yeah.
I don't think he got a fair shot for a lot of these same reasons. I want someone who just cares.
There's a lot of people who had to go, and it was funny on social media, but they all had to, pull out their apology letters to Dwayne Casey and write down all the things that they thought was his fault. It's like, come on, man. You're talking about career-long winners. People who the league will tell you, no, Dwayne Casey literally had a hand in building those Raptors teams to the specifications of his coaching style, to the specifications of the types of players he wanted on the court. When we think about Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan and Valanciunas and such, I think a lot of times we think of them in their prime and just beyond their prime as they've become like super vets now. Those guys were young players with Coach Casey.
Yeah,
he developed a team full of young players into a team that eventually won a championship.
That team didn't have superstars. They had a developing Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry and Amir Johnson, former Piston great. Wasn't he on that team? That Raptors team developing, like, he would have got, I believe he would have got that championship. Nick Nurse got, it's similar to the Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
And not perfect similarities in terms of, I don't know all the details about the team construction and whatnot, but he was a part of that NBA championship winning Raptors team. He got the boot after winning Coach of the Year. Like, we got to remember Dwayne Casey. We don't, his teams with the Pistons were not good. It's hard to defend the records and what we saw on the court there, but like, he's a good coach. He's a good man, and we know he cares about this organization. And I know this isn't the end of the PBO conversation, but ultimately, as a Pistons fan, like, that's what I want. I want someone who cares.
Right. I do too. And
the owner doesn't.
And with Casey, the reason why those apology letters had to go out is because Casey took a team in his first year here. He took them to the playoffs. When the team decided that they were going to break things down, well, anybody, I don't care who you are, bro, bring Phil Jackson in here.
Yeah.
He's not winning too many more games than what Dwayne Casey did here with that squad. That is Trajan Langdon, by the way.
Is that?
With Jed Bush.
Yeah, Mike Dunleavy.
Oh, that's Dave Bushner?
Oh, wow.
Or is it Dunleavy?
It looks like Dunleavy.
Dunleavy was on the Pistons?
Yeah. Yep.
Now the coach of the GM of the Warriors now, so.
Yeah. I like Trajan Langdon in college, too.
Oh, and Duke? Oh,
I like Trajan Langdon.
G.
Rake said Judd Bushler.
Judd Bushler.
Yeah.
Not Dave Bushner.
No.
Dave Bushner?
Judd Bushler. That's what I thought it was.
I know Judd.
3-point shooter, man.
We need a couple of those.
We need a couple of those.
Like Dalton Connect?
Yeah, bro. The 6'6" Dalton Connect from Tennessee.
23-year-old.
I like what he brings to the table. He's going to have more of a mature demeanor. Where he's not going to be one of those prospects that we're saying, you know what, let's wait and see when he puts on his actual strength, because he's not 18, 19, 20. He's 23 years old. But the Pistons thing, like, I'm looking forward to the next round of updates because obviously all of the hottest candidates to me have kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
Now I think the best of the bunch is a Trajan Langdon. If you're talking about from outside,
the tell-on people was left.
Yeah, I am intrigued by Dwayne Casey.
Great.
I really am because of everything he showed himself to be before he got here. I'm not, how do you judge people who have worked here? Stan Van Gundy came here and looked mid. Dwayne Casey, after fresh off of Coach of the Year, came here and looked mid. Monty Williams took a team to the finals, came here, looked mid. And that's the reason why I'm saying, when you continue to see this thing happen time after time after time, at some point in time, we can't continue to say, let's just get rid of these guys too. What if they're not the issue? What does that say to the rest of the league that might know the behind-the-scenes workings of what's going on here? Why would they want to come here then if the precedent is, Troy Weaver, get him out of here? What if it's not his fault? Why would somebody good say, let me go to that organization too because no one's going to have my back? Yeah. Let me go here too because people know what's going on over here, but they're still going to say, well, I don't want nobody to do with it that's been around. That's the only reason why I say, listen, when I look at who Weaver and who Casey were before they got here, I'm sorry, anybody, you look at the news around when both of those guys came to the Pistons. The collective world, not just the Detroit world, all said these are good hires. Some point in time, that has to matter. That's just me. It'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. I do believe it's, in my opinion, Trajan Langdon.
Just you is an opinion I want to hear. You know way more than me about this team and this structure, and I want to hear what you say to help build my opinion based on the information you have. Give us a call, by the way. Let us know your
yeah.
takes on whether it's the Tigers from the opening segment or this Pistons PBO situation, NBA draft situation. We got about a month until the NBA draft, so give us a call, 313-552-6322. If for me in the draft, I'm looking for any rookie that will raise the average age of this Pistons team, which you don't usually get with a draft pick. So I don't care about what he does. He's 23. I'll take him.
You know what? Let's start getting into some of these prospects that will be available for the Pistons. We can start to have some breakdowns. There's some players that I really like. There are some things to talk about. Even though I am on the side of trade to pick, you got to be ready and prepared for anything because you just don't know quite what the Pistons would do. If they take a player in this draft, in my opinion, it's because that means that one of these other young players might be getting traded for a vet as well. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on here.
True.
But
well,
you know
come
what?
on back.
Yeah, definitely.
We want to take your calls. We want to talk Pistons. We want to talk Tigers. We also want to talk Lions because we're going to do a little journey through their offseason.
Let's go
here when we get back. So
you tell me the shades can go back on soon?
Hell yeah, the shades can go back on. Right. Give us a call again, 313-552-6322. This is a Woodward Sports Network Kool-Aid. Speaking of that network, what are the other shows that happen on this network? Who are the other personalities to go watch?
Hey, you know what? Thank you guys, as always, for starting your day off with the Wake Up Woodward crew. We appreciate you guys for always smashing the like button, engaging, calling in, sharing content with us, supporting us, showing up to all the live events. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, it means the world to us. Thank you so much for your support of the Wake Up Woodward crew and all of Woodward Sports. After us, Monday through Friday, 8